The rain hammered against our condo's floor-to-ceiling windows like an angry debt collector. I sat in my leather chair, staring at the text message that had arrived 3 hours ago. Going out for my birthday. Need space to be an adult. Don't wait up. Nira. 28 years old, and she still thought adulthood was something you practiced on weekends. I'm Kellan Brooks, software consultant, reformed startup founder, and apparently the world's most gullible fiancé. The engagement ring I'd bought 6 months ago suddenly felt like a noose around my bank account. My phone buzzed. Instagram notification from Bree, Nira's drama-addicted best friend. I normally avoided social media like a root canal, but something made me tap it open. There she was, my beautiful, manipulative fiancée, draped across some guy's lap at the Cascade Resort, champagne flute in one hand, his wedding ring glinting in the other. The timestamp read 30 minutes ago. The location tag confirmed my worst suspicions. "Happy birthday to me," I muttered, screenshotting everything. The guy was Darren Holloway, married real estate developer with a Ferrari and the personality of wet cardboard. I'd met him at one of Nira's influencer parties, where he'd spent the evening bragging about his properties and checking his phone for stock prices. I spent the next 4 hours methodically documenting everything. Screenshots, payment records from our joint account showing the resort charges, timestamps proving she'd lied about her whereabouts. My old startup training kicked in. When building a case, data is everything. At sunrise, I called Pierce Eldro, my attorney, and one of the few friends who'd survived my transition from tech entrepreneur to bitter consultant. "Kellan, it's 6 a.m. Pierce's voice was gravelly but alert. "Emergency asset protection. How fast can you draft an engagement dissolution?" Jesus, what happened? My fiancée decided to celebrate her birthday by auditioning for someone else's wife role. Pierce was quiet for a moment. "I'll have papers ready by 9. Don't do anything stupid." Define stupid. Anything that involves the police, the hospital, or the news. I heard the front door open. Nira's heels clicked across our hardwood floors like a countdown timer. She appeared in the doorway, designer dress wrinkled, makeup smeared, reeking of expensive perfume that wasn't hers. "Hey, baby," she said, attempting her usual sultry smile. "You're up early." I turned my laptop screen toward her. Bree's Instagram story filled the display, showing Nira and Darren in high-definition infidelity. Her face went white as fresh paint. "Funny thing about social media," I said, my voice steady as granite. "It never lies about timestamps." Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. Nira's mouth opened and closed like a fish gasping for air. That's not what it looks like." "Really?" "Because it looks like my fiancée celebrating her birthday by sitting on another man's lap at a 5-star resort, using our joint credit card to pay for the privilege." She tried the gaslighting approach first. "Bree posts fake stories all the time. You know how she exaggerates everything." I clicked to the next screenshot, a live video Bree had posted, complete with audio of Nira giggling and calling Darren daddy in a voice that made my skin crawl. "Your voice doesn't lie, Nira. Neither do bank statements." Her strategy shifted to righteous indignation. "You're spying on me now? Going through my social media like some paranoid freak? Your friend tagged you publicly. I didn't hack anything. I just have functioning eyeballs and a basic understanding of how the internet works." The front door opened again. Pierce walked in carrying a leather briefcase and the expression of a man who'd seen this drama play out 100 times before. "Ms. Winters," he said, using Nira's maiden name deliberately. "I'm Pierce Eldro, Mr. Brooks's attorney. We need to discuss your immediate relocation." Nira's anger flared. "My what? This is my home too." "Actually, it's not." Pierce opened his briefcase with surgical precision. "The lease is solely in Mr. Brooks' name. You're legally a guest, and your invitation has been revoked." You can't just throw me out. 48 hours, Pierce continued, unruffled. Washington state law. After that, you're trespassing. Nira grabbed a crystal vase from the side table and hurled it at the wall. It shattered into 1,000 pieces, much like our relationship. Feel better? I asked. Because that vase cost more than your last 3 sponsored posts combined. That evening, Nira held one of her usual influencer gatherings at the downtown loft she'd rented for content creation. I arrived uninvited, carrying a box of USB drives. The party was peak Nira, beautiful people taking pictures of their food, everyone talking about their brand, and enough artificial lighting to power a small city. I moved through the crowd like a virus, quietly handing out USB drives to mutual friends, acquaintances, and anyone with a camera phone. Each drive contained carefully curated content, video clips of Nira's weekend adventure, receipts from our joint account, and a particularly entertaining recording of her mocking Darren's bedroom performance to Bree last month. He drives that Ferrari like he's afraid it'll break, Nira's voice echoed from multiple phones as people plugged in the drives. All show, no go, if you know what I mean. The room's energy shifted like air pressure before a storm. Conversations stopped mid-sentence. Phone screens glowed as the evidence spread through the party like wildfire. Bree cornered me near the bar. What the hell did you give everyone? The truth. You should try it sometime. Nira's my best friend. I won't let you destroy her. I smiled and handed her a USB drive. This one's special. Just for you. She plugged it into her phone. Her face went pale as she watched screenshots of her own direct messages with Darren. Messages where she'd offered to console him if things with Nira didn't work out. Where did you get these? Darren really should change his passwords. Ferrari 2023 isn't exactly Fort Knox level security. The party's front door opened, and Darren himself walked in, all swagger and cologne. He spotted me immediately and approached with the confidence of a man who'd never faced real consequences. You must be the ex-fiancée, he said, puffing out his chest like a peacock with anger management issues. Current fiancé, actually, though the paperwork's being processed. Maybe you should learn to keep your woman satisfied. The room went quiet. Every phone was recording now. Interesting advice from a man whose wife just filed for divorce, I said loudly enough for everyone to hear. Tell me, Darren, do you pay by the hour or is there a bulk discount for emotional unavailability? Laughter rippled through the crowd. Darren's face turned red as brake lights. Before he could respond, Nira's phone started buzzing like an angry wasp. Text after text, notification after notification. Her major sponsors were pulling out, citing brand incompatibility and moral turpitude clauses. She turned on Bree like a rabid animal. This is your fault. Your stupid stories, your constant posting. The slap echoed through the loft like a gunshot. Bree stumbled backward, hand pressed to her cheek, tears streaming down her face. The party devolved into chaos. Phones captured every moment as former friends chose sides, sponsors fled, and Nira's carefully constructed influencer empire crumbled in real time. I walked toward the exit, pausing only to address the room. If this is what adulthood looks like, I'll stick with being a child. 3 days later, Nira ambushed me at Skyline, the rooftop bar where we'd had our first date. She'd chosen a corner table with city views, probably hoping the romantic setting would cloud my judgment. We can fix this, she said, leaning forward in a dress that cost more than most people's rent. It was a mistake, Kellan, a stupid, drunken mistake. Which part? The cheating, the lying, or the public humiliation? I was confused, scared about the engagement, about commitment. You know how I get. I know exactly how you get. That's the problem. She tried a different approach, trailing her fingers across my hand. Remember our first night here? How perfect everything was? I remember you posting 17 Instagram stories about the appetizers instead of actually talking to me. Darren appeared like a bad rash, sliding into the booth beside Nira with proprietary confidence. Brooks, isn't it? I think we need to have a conversation. About what? Your wife's divorce attorney or your Ferrari's mysterious new paint job? His face darkened. What paint job? I'd had my old friend Rico, who ran a custom auto shop, leave a special message under Darren's hood. Nothing permanent, nothing illegal, just some creative artistic expression involving washable paint and a few choice words about his driving skills. Check under the hood, I suggested. Rico's an artist. You touched my car? I didn't touch anything, but you might want to check your air conditioning. Seafood has such a distinctive aroma, especially in confined spaces. Darren's nostrils flared as he caught a whiff of the shrimp Rico had strategically placed in his air vents. You son of a... Careful, I interrupted. Bree's live streaming from 2 tables over. Wouldn't want your anger management issues going viral. Sure enough, Bree was pointing her phone in our direction, desperate to rebuild her follower count after her own scandal broke. Nira grabbed Darren's arm as he started to stand. Don't. He's baiting you. Smart woman, I said. Too bad wisdom comes after the fact. We moved to the parking garage, where Darren's Ferrari sat under the fluorescent lights like a wounded animal. He popped the hood and found Rico's masterpiece. Next time, pay your own tab, painted in washable red letters across the engine block. This is vandalism. This is art, and it'll wash right off, unlike your reputation. Darren shoved me hard against a concrete pillar. I let him, then stepped aside as he swung again, watching him stumble into a puddle of oily water. Feel better? I asked as he struggled to his feet, designer suit soaked and stained. Nira started screaming at both of us, her voice echoing through the garage like a siren. Bree, who'd followed us down, caught every word on her live stream. You're both pathetic, Nira shrieked, fighting over me like I'm some prize. Prize? I laughed. Lady, you're not even participation trophy material. The live stream went viral within hours. Darren's wife saw it, along with her attorney, her friends, and apparently half of Seattle. By morning, process servers had tracked him down at his office, delivering divorce papers in front of his business partners and clients. Standing in my condo that evening, watching the rain streak down the windows, I felt something I hadn't experienced in months. Peace. That's what I call free delivery, I said to my reflection. Nira's desperation reached new heights the following week. She appeared at my door wearing nothing but my old college t-shirt and her most manipulative smile. I know you still love me, she whispered, pressing against the door frame like a cat in heat. We had something real, Kellan, something worth fighting for. I handed her a manila envelope. Your half of this month's rent. You can mail me a check. You can't be serious. Serious. Also, you left your toothbrush in the bathroom. I threw it away. Her seductive mask slipped, revealing the entitled rage underneath. You're really going to throw away 3 years over one mistake? One mistake? Nira, you've been making mistakes since we got engaged. I just finally started paying attention. She left in a fury, slamming the door hard enough to rattle the windows. 2 nights later, I caught Darren vandalizing my car in the building's underground garage. He was keying the paint with the dedication of a man who'd lost everything and needed someone to blame. Therapeutic? I asked, stepping out of the shadows. He spun around, key still in hand, looking like a teenager caught shoplifting. You ruined my life. I didn't touch your life. You did that all by yourself when you decided to chase after engaged women. She came on to me. And you said no, right? Because you're married and have moral standards? He lunged at me with the key. I sidestepped, grabbed his wrist, and twisted until he dropped it. Then I backed him against the concrete wall, close enough to smell his fear sweat. Here's what's going to happen. I said quietly. You're going to pay for the damage to my car. You're going to stay away from me, from Nira, and from anyone else in my orbit. And if I see you again, I'll make sure your business partners learn about your weekend habits. I pressed closer, lowering my voice to a whisper. I know about Vegas, Darren. The gambling debts, the loans, the creative accounting. Your mother-in-law would be fascinated by those receipts. He was shaking now. All his alpha male posturing evaporated like morning mist. How did you really should change your passwords. All of them. I released his wrist and stepped back. He fled like a rabbit, leaving behind his wallet in his panic. I picked it up, removed his driver's license, and tossed the wallet in a nearby dumpster. I'll mail this back, I called after him. Eventually. The next morning, my phone buzzed with a notification that made me smile for the first time in weeks. Bree had accidentally left her live stream running while she and Nira plotted to frame me for assault. Every word was recorded, time-stamped, and saved to the cloud. Never trust a drama queen with unlimited data, I muttered, forwarding the video to Pierce. The confrontation I'd been planning took place at the Meridian Hotel, where Nira and Bree had been staying since their respective evictions from reality. I'd arranged everything through Janine, the hotel manager, and an old client who owed me a favor. Pierce and I arrived with a laptop, a portable projector, and enough evidence to sink a battleship. Hotel security was discreetly positioned, and Janine had ensured that several of Nira's remaining friends were present in the lobby, phones ready. Nira and Bree were in the penthouse suite, probably planning their next move in the war they'd started but couldn't finish. Ladies, I said as Janine unlocked the door with her master key, we need to talk. The suite's main wall became our canvas as Pierce set up the projector. Every text message, every social media post, every receipt and recording played out in high-definition glory. This is harassment, Nira screamed, but her voice cracked with the knowledge that she was trapped. This is evidence, Pierce corrected. Evidence of fraud, defamation, and conspiracy to file false police reports. Bree tried to rush me, nails extended like claws, but hotel security intervened smoothly. She ended up restrained in a chair, makeup running, designer dress torn. You destroyed my life, she sobbed. I documented your choices, I replied. There's a difference. Darren stumbled in, face bruised from his encounter with his wife's brothers, desperate to defend the woman who'd cost him everything. This ends now, Brooks. It ended the moment you decided to play house with my fiancée. Everything since then has been clean up. His wife's attorney appeared in the doorway like an avenging angel. Mr. Holloway, you missed your deposition? Again. The final blow came when I revealed Nira's secret social media account, the one where she'd trashed every friend, every sponsor, every business contact she'd ever had. Screenshots filled the wall, showing her true feelings about the people who'd supported her career. I sent these to every agency in town, I announced, along with a comprehensive report on your professional reliability. The room erupted. Former friends, influencers, and business contacts who'd gathered in the lobby pushed into the suite, phones recording every moment of Nira's public breakdown. But I wasn't finished. There's one more thing, I said, producing a legal document. Remember that apartment lease you signed last month? The one you thought would give you independence? Nira's face went white. I bought the building, through a shell company, completely legal. Your lease has been terminated for violation of the morality clause. Her belongings sat in the lobby, packed in cardboard boxes like the remnants of a failed business. Please, she whispered, all her fight finally gone. Don't ruin me. I looked at her, really looked at her, for the first time in months. The beautiful, manipulative woman who'd promised to love me forever, who'd thrown it all away for a weekend of excitement and a man with a fancy car. You ruined yourself, I said quietly. The only thing I did was turn on the lights. I walked through the lobby as chaos erupted behind me. Reporters, ex-friends, attorneys, and social media vultures swarmed around the wreckage of 3 lives that had self-destructed through greed, lust, and stupidity. Pierce and Janine joined me at the hotel bar, where I ordered 3 glasses of the most expensive whiskey they had. "To justice," Pierce said, raising his glass. "To documentation," Janine added. I raised my glass and smiled for the first time in months. "I love adulting," I said, "especially when it means taking out the trash."